Alright, I'm just going to do a real quick tutorial here on the Creed RTA. It's by Geek Vape, and I'm basically making this because a lot of the other tutorials, they leave out a lot of really important stuff that I've kind of picked up along the way, and I watched a lot of them, and I'm putting them all together so this one will tell you everything. Alright, so this is what I'm using right here as the actual metal coils. You get this, and it has cotton in it, and it's just got all these different kind of things. It's a lot. It seems overwhelming. But what you do basically is, all you gotta do, because these are 3mm coils, okay? And the amount of cotton in between each coil is gonna be different. So, to make it real simple for you, I'm just gonna go ahead and show you the weight of this. And this will do 2 coils. So, cut that right in half. And when you cut this in half, each length of this is gonna be 1 1/4 inch. I mean, you can measure it before cutting it in half. I'm pretty good at cutting, so they're about the same. All right, the weight of these is, and again, 3mm. And this right here is grains. 1.56. So each, and that's grains. So each piece of cotton that you wick your coils with is going to weigh 0.80 grains. Just to, and again, 3mm. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and use, and again, here's this, just so you know, people know what to buy. It's really cheap for this. It's right there. I don't know. I'm gonna go ahead and use some staples. You gotta have 2 of these, okay? And I've already gone ahead and pulled these teeny tiny screws right here. I've already pulled them up. I've already unscrewed them. So I don't have to do that right now. And another thing, you want to go ahead and turn your mod off. I like installing coils on the mod because it gives me a weight. And I like keeping the batteries in it also because it's a nice work area, I found. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and start with this. What you gotta do is slide that in there like so. Pop it back a little bit, and you want when you're installing coils, you want your coils to be over top of these air vents right here. That's where you want it. That's going to be in the end where it's at. All right, so that's where I want them. So I'm going to go ahead and mark them. Go ahead and hold this in place right here. Make sure it's right. And I'm just going to mark it with fingernail clippers. Put that right against flush. And mark it. I'm just going to go ahead and yank this out real quick. And all I'm going to do here is hold it real tight. Okay. Put these decent scissors on here. Just like some of those bone cutting scissors. Hold it real tight with my left hand. And just do it. You know, you can't hesitate. You just got to cut. Then find your mark on your other one. Do the exact same thing. And go ahead and hold these like this. And then what you can do is, I mean, if you can hold it real tight with one hand, both of them, you can just go ahead and cut them like this. Just gotta make sure that you can hold it real tight. Alright, now they're all about the same. You gotta be kind of careful and you know, you gotta hold it. You don't want to be all and mess up your coil because you want that to stay pretty much factory. See there, it kind of went out a little bit there, but that's alright. Alright. So then what you want to do is, these are open pretty well. And when you're putting these together, like a lot of people might be like, oh, which one goes on top of which? It doesn't matter. Just shove them in there. Just get both of them in. One on one side, one on the other side. Shove them in there. Tighten it down just a little bit. Just until you start seeing them move a little bit. So you know you got something. Same with the other side. So you start seeing something move a little bit. And then you want to go ahead and whatever you do never press, even though it's off, when it's on, whatever. I just want to throw this in here. Never press the fire button when you have metal on here because you'll get shocked. So, you know, don't do that. Alright, I'm just going to go ahead and just kind of put my finger right here as a stopper and just kind of push out real gently on that. Until it's over top. That's pretty close. I'm just going to do the same thing here on the other side. You can also press with the head of your Phillips, your straight head screwdriver. You know, just to get them right. The goal here is to have this circle right here all the same, so that when you fire, the electricity is homogeneously distributed. That's the end goal here. Looking at it, and it looks good. I got a little bit of lead overhang. It's not too horrible. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and tighten them up. And when you tighten these, it's going to change. So, I mean, you can maybe, you know, put a little bit of pressure, just a teeny bit, while you're tightening, just to make it so it doesn't throw your alignment off that you just spent all that time doing. You can also jump back and forth on them, tighten a little bit, tighten a little bit, tighten a little bit, just until you feel some resistance. You don't want them tight. You just want them to touch. All right, I'm pretty happy with that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and straighten them out. Like so. And when you straighten them out, what it'll do is it'll kind of bring the coils together. It'll sandwich them together. But you want to do it from the top. You want to put it in at the top and bring it up. Just ever so slightly. Just like that. You want to make sure your coils aren't touching any metal or anything. See, that one's still touching the top of the airflow. So I'm going to go ahead and just yank it up a little bit. Not yank it up, but do it real gently. That looks good. Go ahead and bring this one up a little bit as well. Alright, when you're done, you want it to look about like that. With this part, when you're done here. Just so everything looks the same. And all the parameters that I talked about are met. I'm pretty happy with that. Got a bit of a gap there, but that's alright. Alright, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and test it. Alright, I went ahead and cut out, and I'm back now, so that, wasn't a bunch of light on it while I did this. What you're looking for here is, and again, you never want to press this while you're touching this with metal. What you're looking for here is you want the heat evenly from the middle of the coils towards the outside. That's what you're looking for when you do this. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this on. And it might say like new coil detected. Just ignore that. It might tell you to pick an amount on the coil and what have you. Just ignore all that. All you got to worry about is your watts. And I do have these watts up a bit high, so I'm going to lower this, especially for this. Go ahead and lower that to like 50. Around 50. And I'm going to go ahead and fire it and see what we got. You hold it until it looks red. Alright, see right there, I got my finger off the trigger. I had a cold spot. So, I mean, every time you do this, every time you put in a new coil, it's not going to be perfect. And the way you fix it isn't like any certain thing. It's basically just kind of moving it around and making it so your leads are touching your contacts better. So all I did there is just squeeze each of them a little bit. I still have, a bit of a gap there, but it's the same on both sides, so everything looks good there. It's not touching. Go ahead and move it around a little bit more, I guess. Alright, now I'm going to try it again and see what we got. Alright, I got some cold spots over here, but it's not bad. It's not too bad. That's just kind of the coil itself. I could look at it and tell that that's what that was. You don't want to overthink it. As long as it heats evenly, those cold spots and stuff are just the coil. I mean, there's nothing you can do about that. Alright, see, that's good. So, what I'm going to go ahead and do is come back on over here. And I'm going to wick this thing. Alright, so the way I'm going to wick it is, I got my piece of 1 1/4 inch cotton. You saw the weight, 0.80 grains. Just going to twist it. Before you do that, before you put this in here dry, you want to make sure it's not hot. See, it's still a little bit hot. See, it's still a little bit hot. So, it's going to kind of twist on these while that's cooling down a little bit. Twist on both of them. Because it's going to be hard to get these through there. The weight and the length on this is very important. But if I'm doing this about this device, so 1.25 inches is perfect. Keep twisting on them. Keep on twisting on them. Hunting season's getting ready to start, and there's a bunch of people all around me. Sounds like a war zone. Shooting guns, the dogs are going nuts. So that's what that is, if you heard that. There's just, that's just the way it is here. People shoot guns all over the place. Alright, that feels alright. So, got this nice and tight. What I'm going to do, actually, you know what, I'm going to feed it through this side. twist and push, twist and push, twist and push. That's the ticket. Yank it through. Make sure it's the same length on each side. Alright, looks good. Now do it with this one. Same thing. See, I like that tip. This should go through easy. I say that and it won't. Push and twist. Push and twist. Came right through. You want to be gentle here so you don't mess up your, because I didn't put these screws down these posts real tight. So, I mean, you can knock it all out of alignment. But if you do, you just got to kind of look at it and get it back. Check my measurements. Looks good. Looks pretty good. So now what you got to do here is, I like to use something. You just got to kind of get this cotton into these wells. And I like to do it one at a time. See how that's going that way? I'm just going to kind of bring it back. Just get it in these wells. I got on the well real good on that side. I'm going to go ahead and make a little bit of space in the middle. Just kind of push through until I feel the bottom. And that's just for more proper airflow. Alright, that side looks good. Do the same thing with this side. And I definitely suggest getting something better than scissors to cut the coils, because, like a really good pair of snips, just because it just makes it a little bit easier. You don't gotta be all and what have you. Alright, so I'm happy with all this. All this looks good. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and juice this thing. And what I'm going to use is this. And another thing I like doing, I like having a, my backup mod sitting here so I can hit it while I'm doing this. So I have nicotine, I think that's really important. Alright. Now I'm just going to juice it like this, real quick. I'm trying not to get a whole bunch of extra juice all over the place, but it's kind of hard to avoid. I mean, pretty much it's going to leak out when you put it together. There's another gunshot. There's the dogs barking. I like it. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm not going to put one of these airflow tanks on here. It has a bunch of them. You can play with that if you want. I prefer it without any airflow tanks. That's just the way I like it. See, I just, probably fine, but go ahead and push that in a little bit. Because I don't have the airflow tank on there. Pop that right on there. And this is all one piece. Like, it's, in my opinion, just keep it all together to keep it simple. All this, just keep it in one piece. Close that. Sharp's tight. And the way this comes off is you gotta kind of press down on it and turn. I got it on there a little bit tight. Use this paper towel. There we go. I got juice on my hands. Pop that off, and I'm gonna go ahead and fill it now, so I don't get a nasty hit. I already checked it. I know it's right. I'm not gonna super fill it, but fill it so that where the juice goes in to the wicking wells, it, you know, at least so those are covered. The little vents where the juice goes in. And that's a huge tank too. It's like it's like, I don't know 100%, but I think it's like 6.5 milliliters or something like that. I think that's how much juice this thing can hold. And you want to go ahead and, when you do fill this thing all the way up, you want to leave a little bit of room. You don't want to fill it all the way to the tippy top, just because it'll allow it to vacuum a little bit better if you don't do that. So this thing takes a lot of juice. And I'm kind of surprised I don't have a little bit of leakage. I'm not seeing any, so that's cool. Pop this back on. This is easier to put on and off when you have your drip tip on. Go ahead and close it. Hopefully it wicked enough with that little bit of time. But the cool thing is, these are only, you know, they're super cheap. It's not like $5 a pop when you're buying completely remade coils. It's cheap. All right. Go ahead and preheat it a little bit. And there you go. This thing is definitely a cloud chucker. So that's how you install a coil on the new Creed RTA by Geek Vape. And
thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe.
And that Sandy S's has hers on hers as well. Same deal. See if she can chuck some clouds. Blow some rings.
I blow rings better than Jake.